Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, guys. What if I told you that the Washington Commanders, a team that's been battling through a pretty solid start to this season, might be on the verge of making a move that could redefine their entire defensive identity and who knows, maybe even their future in the NFL? That's right. Rumors are swirling, insiders are talking, and the NFL world is watching closely. We're talking about a potential blockbuster trade involving none other than Max Crosby, one of the most electrifying pass rushers in the league today, currently with the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a move that could send shockwaves through the NFC East and reshape the Commanders' chances of contending for a Super Bowl in the coming years. So let's get into the details, because this isn't just some rumor, this is a strategic play being considered by both sides. Sources, including Adam Schefter, have indicated that the Raiders, who are currently sitting at a pretty disappointing 1-3 record with a defense that's been leaking points like a sieve, allowing around 27 points per game up to September 15th, are looking to shake things up. They've been undergoing a bit of a rebuild after losing some key pieces, and with a draft class that's heavily focused on building for the future, they're evaluating their options. Now, one of the options on their table involves trading Max Crosby, an elite pass rusher, for the Washington Commanders. And folks, this isn't just a minor swap. The Raiders are reportedly planning to send Crosby in exchange for a second-round pick in 2026 and tight end Zach Ertz. This potential trade makes a lot of sense for the Raiders. They're in a rebuild mode, trying to get younger, more flexible with their cap space, which currently has about $15 million in free room, despite Crosby's hefty $25 million cap hit. Their offensive line has been struggling, allowing an average of 5.2 sacks per game, and their draft focus has shifted towards quarterbacks and rebuilding the roster from the ground up. Trading Crosby, who's been a cornerstone of their defense, would free up cap space, add draft assets, and help them accelerate their rebuild. But for the Commanders, this could be a game changer. Now, let's talk about Max Crosby himself, because this guy isn't just any edge rusher. He's been an All-Pro selection from 2022 through 2024, and his PFF pass rush grade of 92.4 in his career highlights just how dominant he's been. Crosby has accumulated 58.5 sacks, 285 pressures, 10 forced fumbles, and 98 tackles for loss in just 85 games. His 2024 season has been impressive: 14.5 sacks, a PFF overall grade of 91.2, and he's been a nightmare for offensive lines. He's got an EPA per rush of -0.42, which is stellar, and his run defense grade stands at 88.3. That's the kind of player that instantly upgrades any defense. And even with injuries, such as a shoulder injury that cost him one game last year, Crosby has been remarkably durable, playing around 90% of the team's snaps. What makes Crosby so valuable, beyond his stats, is his consistency and ability to elevate the entire pass rush. When he's on the field, the Commanders' pass rush becomes a different beast, up by about 25% in efficiency, according to some metrics. Pairing him with a guy like Chase Young, assuming he's healthy, or even with other emerging talents, could turn the Commanders into one of the most feared defensive units in the NFL. Remember, under defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio, the team has been trying to find that perfect mix of pass rush and secondary coverage. Adding Crosby could be the piece that completes the puzzle. Now, let's put that into perspective. The Commanders currently average around 3.8 sacks per game, which isn't terrible, but it's not elite either. They need that extra push, that game-changing player who can consistently get to the quarterback. Crosby, with his 14.5 sacks in 2024 and his ability to pressure the QB on nearly every snap, could push this team to new heights. His presence alone could help reduce the points allowed, which currently sits at around 21 per game, potentially bringing it down to 16 or even lower. The impact on their defense would be profound. And it's not just about pass rushing. Crosby's run defense is also a major asset. His run-stop grade of 85 plus makes him a versatile defender who can contribute in multiple ways. If he joins Washington, he could become a cornerstone of their defense, especially as they look to build a more aggressive, disruptive front. And with the addition of Zach Ertz, a reliable tight end who can catch in tight windows, the Commanders could also bolster their offensive versatility, giving quarterback Sam Howell more weapons and options. The dynamic of this team could shift significantly, especially under the strategic guidance of head coach Ron Rivera and defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio. Now, let's also consider what this means for the NFC East and Washington's Super Bowl aspirations. Currently, the Commanders sit at a solid 3-1 record, showing resilience and growth under their new coaching staff. But to truly contend, they need to tighten up that defense and make that leap into elite status. Adding a player like Crosby could be the catalyst. Imagine a defense that can consistently pressure the quarterback, force turnovers, and shut down opposing run games. That's the kind of unit that can carry a team deep into the playoffs. Now, the odds are also reflecting this potential boost. Bookmakers have moved the Commanders' Super Bowl odds from plus 2,000 to as low as plus 1,000, a significant shift that indicates the market's belief in this team's potential. Meanwhile, the Raiders' odds of winning the Super Bowl have skyrocketed to plus 25-0, showing that their focus is more on rebuilding rather than competing this year. The trade, if it happens, could push the Commanders' projected wins from around 10 or 11 to possibly 13-14, making them even more of a dark horse contender in the NFC. But it's not just about the immediate season. The long-term implications are what really excite fans. With Crosby anchoring the pass rush and Zach Ertz providing veteran leadership at tight end, the Commanders could be setting up a core that lasts for several seasons. Their defensive identity could be transformed, making them a team that opponents fear every week. And in the NFL, where the margin between winning and losing can be razor-thin, having that elite pass rush can be the difference in close games, especially in the playoffs. Now, there's also a strategic element here. The Commanders, under Dan Quinn, are focusing on strengthening their defense to dominate the NFC East. With Philly, Dallas, and New York all boasting strong offensive units, especially in the passing game, the Commanders need to answer back with a ferocious pass rush. Crosby could be that answer. His ability to generate pressure and disrupt the quarterback's timing could neutralize some of the league's best defenses, giving Washington a real competitive edge. And remember, the NFL is a league where trades happen fast and unexpectedly. The fact that this trade is being discussed seriously means the teams see value in making a bold move. For Washington, it's about elevating their defense, creating a more formidable front, and positioning themselves as true contenders. For the Raiders, it's about clearing cap space, gaining draft capital, and focusing on their rebuild. Both sides have strategic reasons to make this happen, and the NFL universe is watching closely. As we look ahead, the impact of such a trade would ripple through the league. If Crosby joins Washington, it not only boosts their chances this season, but also signals a shift in how the Commanders are building their roster. They're not just looking for quick fixes. They want to establish a dominant, disruptive defense that can carry them deep into the postseason. And with Crosby's leadership and skill, they're well on their way to doing just that. So, fans, it's an exciting time. The potential of adding Crosby to the Commanders' roster has fans dreaming of playoff runs, deep defenses, and maybe even more Super Bowl appearances. It's a bold move, one that could define the franchise's future for years to come. The NFL is unpredictable, but one thing is for sure: the Washington Commanders are making moves, and this offseason might just be the beginning of a new chapter of dominance. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you believe Crosby can be the missing piece that takes this team to the next level? Are you excited about the possibility of a more aggressive, ferocious defense that can dominate the NFC East? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us, and to the Washington Commanders community. Remember, this isn't just about one player or one trade. It's about building a team that can contend for championships year after year. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and news from the NFL. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep rooting for the Commanders to rise to greatness.